Bodh Gaya is a very special place for Buddhists all over the world. It is located in the state of Bihar in India. This is where more than 2,500 years ago, a prince named Siddhartha Gautama sat under a Bodhi tree. He meditated and found enlightenment, becoming the Buddha. Because of this, Bodh Gaya is the holiest site in Buddhism. The beautiful Mahabodhi temple stands there today. It is a UNESCO World Heritage Site, a place of peace and prayer for millions. For centuries, it has been a symbol of the Buddha's teachings and a destination for pilgrims seeking spiritual connection and tranquility. But in early 2025, this place of peace became a center of protest. For 120 long days, Buddhist monks and their followers held a large, peaceful demonstration. The protest was led by a group called the All India Buddhist Forum, or AIBF. They were not angry or violent. Instead, they used calm and respectful ways to share their message. They gathered near the Holy Temple, not to cause trouble, but to ask for something they believe is very important. Their protest was a quiet but powerful call for justice, a call to protect the heart of their faith from laws they felt were unfair. The reason for the protest is a law called the Bodh Gaya Temple Act of 1949. This law created a special committee to manage the Mahabodhi temple. The problem, according to the monks, is how this committee is formed. The law says that the committee must have both Hindu and Buddhist members. In fact, it gives Hindus an equal or even a majority position in managing this most sacred Buddhist site. The protesters feel this is not right. They believe that a Buddhist holy place should be managed by Buddhists, just as other religions in India manage their own sacred sites. This feeling of injustice is not new. For many years, Buddhists have felt that their voices were not being heard. They believe the current law takes away their right to care for their most important temple in a way that follows Buddhist traditions. The 120-day protest was a culmination of decades of patience. It was a moment when the community decided to stand together and ask for a change. They wanted to show the government and the world that this issue matters deeply to them. Their peaceful gathering was a powerful statement about their desire for fairness and religious freedom in a place that means everything to them. The protesting monks and their supporters had 6 clear demands. These were the goals they hoped to achieve with their peaceful movement. First and most important, they asked to completely repeal the Bodh Gaya Temple Act of 1949. They believe this law is the main cause of the problem. By removing this law, they hoped to open the door for a new and fairer system. This single demand was the foundation of their entire protest, as they saw the act as a historical mistake that needed to be corrected for the sake of justice and religious dignity. Their second demand was directly connected to the first. They asked for exclusive Buddhist control over the Mahabodhi temple. This means they want the full responsibility for managing and taking care of the temple. They feel that only the Buddhist community can truly protect its spiritual atmosphere and ensure that all activities align with the Buddha's teachings. This is not about excluding others, but about preserving the unique identity of the holy site. They believe that those who follow the path of the Buddha are best suited to guide the temple's future and maintain its sanctity for generations to come. Third, the protesters wanted to stop Hindu rituals from being performed inside the temple complex. They explained that these rituals, while important to Hinduism, are not part of Buddhist practice. Their presence, they argue, creates confusion and changes the purely Buddhist character of the sacred space. The fourth demand was to restore the temple's true Buddhist identity. They were worried that the site's heritage was being changed, with some claiming that Hindu idols were placed in Buddhist shrines. They wanted to protect the temple's original art, history, and spiritual environment for all to experience. The final 2 demands focused on the government and the legal system. The 5th demand was a plea to the Supreme Court of India. A case to repeal the 1949 Act was started back in 2012, but for over a decade, it had not been heard. The monks asked the court to please expedite the process and listen to their case. Their last demand was for the government to stop interfering in a way that caused long delays. They had sent many letters and requests to both the state and central governments, but felt they were being ignored. They asked for a meaningful response and a solution to their long-standing problems. Throughout the 120 days, the Buddhist monks showed incredible patience and commitment to non-violence. They followed the Buddha's teachings on peace, even while fighting for their rights. Their main method of protest was a sit-in, known as a dana. Day after day they sat quietly near the temple, holding signs and praying. They did not shout or block roads. Instead, their silent presence was a powerful message. This peaceful approach was very important to them. It showed that their goal was not to create conflict, but to find a just and respectful solution to a problem that had troubled their community for a very long time. As the weeks passed and their requests were not answered, some monks decided to take a more serious step. They began an indefinite hunger strike on February 12, 2025. This meant they would not eat until their demands were heard. A hunger strike is a very difficult and painful form of protest, but it is a deeply peaceful one. It shows a person's willingness to suffer for their beliefs. The monks on hunger strike, including a respected leader named Bhante Pragyashil Mahathero, were making the ultimate peaceful sacrifice. They were putting their own health at risk to draw attention to their cause and inspire a response from the authorities. A very difficult moment came late at night on February 27, 2025. After the monks had been on their hunger strike for 14 days, police arrived at the protest site. They forcibly removed about 24 monks from the temple area. This action was a major turning point. It brought national attention to the protest and made many people sad and concerned. The monks were moved, but their spirit was not broken. This event only made them more determined to continue their peaceful struggle for what they believed was right. They felt that this action showed why change was so urgently needed. Adding to their frustration was the long delay in the court system. The monks had placed their faith in the law by filing a petition with the Supreme Court in 2012. They believed the court would see the fairness in their request. However, as of March 2025, 13 years later, the case had still not been scheduled for a hearing. This long wait was a heavy burden. It felt like their voices were lost in a system that was moving too slowly. The combination of government inaction and legal delays tested their patience, but they continued to hold on to hope and their commitment to peaceful methods. The leaders of the protest, like Bhante Pragyashil Mahathero, often spoke about the Indian constitution. They explained that their fight was not just about religion, but also about their rights as citizens of India. The Constitution guarantees religious freedom and equality for all communities, big or small. The monks argued that as a minority group, Buddhists have the right to manage their own religious places without outside control. They presented their case as a simple request for the same rights that are given to other major religions in the country. This constitutional argument was a core part of their message of justice and fairness. The protest was not just a local event. It grew into a movement with support from all over India and even from other countries. More than 500 different organizations joined to support the monks' cause. Messages of solidarity came from Buddhist communities in countries like Sri Lanka, Thailand, Japan, the United States, and Canada. An online petition asking for Buddhist control of the temple received thousands of signatures from people around the globe. This wide support showed that the issue was important not just to the monks in Bodh Gaya, but to a global community that values justice and religious heritage. The protest leaders always emphasized that their movement was democratic and non-violent. One organizer, Abhishek Bodh, explained their feelings clearly. He said that Buddhists have not received justice, so they have no choice but to protest peacefully. Their actions were a cry for help, a way to make their voices heard when all other methods had failed. They did not want to fight. They wanted to talk and find a solution. Their calm and persistent approach earned them respect and admiration from many people who watched their struggle unfold over those 120 days. The protest has ended, but the call for justice continues. The monks and their supporters remain hopeful that their peaceful efforts will lead to real change. They are asking for a new law that respects their rights and honors the legacy of the Buddha. The story of their 120-day protest is a powerful reminder that even the quietest voices, when joined together in peace, can create a powerful call for change. Their hope is that the government and the courts will listen, and that the Mahabodhi temple will soon be managed by the community that holds it most sacred. This is their prayer for a just and fair future.